Test Drive with Graham Fletcher.
This week on Test Drive we look at the 1994 Chrysler New Yorker. Now in the past they've used many nautical names to describe that particular nameplate. Land yacht is probably one of the most frequently used. In this week's Test Drive you'll learn that this New Yorker is anything but a land yacht.
The New Yorker's competition includes the Cadillac Seville, Mercedes-Benz 300e, Lincoln Continental and the Buick Park Avenue. Lofty competition indeed. It is notable that all of these are vastly more expensive, $50,000 plus versus about $34,000 for a loaded New Yorker. Power is provided by the same 3.5-litre 24-valve V6 that was introduced in the original LH models. With power rated at 214 horses and 221 pounds-feet of torque, one might expect performance to be quick. At 9 seconds to the 100k mark, it is certainly spirited. Out on the highway, the thing purrs along, meaning you get the best of both worlds. The hitch in the get-along is the transmission and the upshift strategy Chrysler have adopted. In order to attain desirable fuel economy, the transmission upshifts as soon as it possibly can. The result is, at 50 to 60k, the engine is lugging badly at about 1600 RPM. This type of RPM happens to be a country mile out of the power band. The result is that the transmission is constantly hunting between gears. A rethink of the transmission strategy is desperately in order, especially in the sportier LHS. Fuel economy averaged a respectable 23 miles per gallon or 12.3 litres per 100 kilometres. That, by way of interest, is the same as the lighter LH models.
No pylon test on this week's Test Drive, but what we have managed to do is to find a nice twisty piece of roadway, and it'll do as a substitute very nicely. Now, given that this is a luxury-oriented automobile, this car is handling this rather tortuous piece of blacktop very nicely indeed. Chrysler are to be commended for the job they've done on the suspension.
As well as coming with standard anti-lock brakes, the New Yorker also comes with traction control. On slippery surfaces, the system limits wheel spin, enabling the car to pull away. Without the system, it will be difficult to say the least. The nice part of this setup is that it allows the driver a certain amount of latitude before intervening. For the record, I required 118 feet to stop the New Yorker from 80k.
The redesign on the New Yorker is radical to say the very least. You'll find no white walls, no fake wire wheel hubcaps, no opera lamps, and especially no vinyl roof. In fact, they went to the effort of designing the back end here such as to make it impossible to add an aftermarket vinyl roof. As one engineer told us during the tech session, trying to put a vinyl roof on this curved surface would be like trying to wallpaper a bowling ball.
Inside, the New Yorker has been very tastefully decked out. The old sofa-style seats have been replaced with an orthopedically correct split bench seat that features 8-way adjustment for both halves. There is also a full complement of power items including mirrors, locks and windows, along with cruise control and a wonderful sounding Infinity stereo system that features a built-in graphic equalizer. Below the stereo are the climate controls. The system can be operated either in an automatic or manual mode. The nice part about the controls is that they are large and extremely easy to use, even with gloves on. To round things off and add a touch of elegance, their words not mine, there is the obligatory strip of fake wood. Unlike other manufacturers, however, who destroy some rare and unusual trees to create the effect, Chrysler have opted for real plastic, recyclable plastic at that. The dash is analog, easy to interpret and readily viewed through the top portion of the steering wheel. The latter holds true even when the steering wheel is moved through its entire range. There is also a roof-mounted trip computer that includes a compass and outside temperature.
The front half of this New Yorker is pretty much the same as the front half of the Chrysler Concorde. However, the back half of the car is quite different. The revised roofline has allowed them to move the rear seat back another 3 inches. That gives you limo-like legroom in the back. In the trunk area, they've added another 5 inches to the back of the car. Now that gives them 18 cubic feet of trunk space, and that is enormous by anybody's standards.
The LHS version differs from the New Yorker in as much as it is aimed at a sportier buyer. To that end, there is a floor-mounted console, better seats that offer much improved support, and a suspension that is firmer and more in keeping with the car's sportier pretensions. The standard 16-inch wheels and better tyres also help things enormously. On the safety front, all things are in place: dual airbags, traction control and ABS.
As the general manager of Chrysler explained, traditional New Yorker buyers have matured themselves out of existence. That being the case, this car has the ingredients to make it very popular with a younger crowd. To quote an old and rather hackneyed expression, they don't make them like they used to. Thank goodness for that.